Our next speaker is Mr. Chin Tak Pugh, who's our administrator for the Human Resources Department, and he's giving his talk on old is golden, new is refreshing, appreciating the strengths of your employees. Mr. Chin?
Mr. Stewart, if I can remember, he said, healthcare services is not a very difficult task to do. The most complicated thing is about people. And that's exactly what I want to speak about on this area. Old is golden, new is refreshing, appreciating strengths of your employees. How many of you here consider yourself as long service employees? I don't want to use the word old. Rather the word long service. Can we have a raise of hands? Very good. And how many of you are considered as new, which is refreshing? Not many. Okay, well, a couple over there. Why do you want, or why do people want from their jobs? Appreciation of work done, feeling of being included, good working conditions, high help with personal problems, high wages. How many of you feel that high wages is what you want from your jobs? Perhaps you have a show of hands too. Mr. Stuart Peck says high wages is important. Anybody else? Couple over there. So you have high wages. We give you the high wages. But ladies and gentlemen, what happened after a few months? Are you motivated still by the high wages? Will you still be as committed and motivated after a few months? Not really. We have a feedback here. So what really pushes to a next effort, make us more committed to do our work? Is it interesting work, job security, personal support from supervisors, promotion opportunities? Some of you may put some of these points down as one of the key drivers. Some may not. So every one of us has individual needs that are different from one another. Now, after saying, look, what do you want from your jobs, let's take a look at what do supervisors or managers think people want from their jobs. So in this area, what do you feel? Most of you actually do work under a superior or direct boss, so-called. What do you think that person wants from your job? Any comments from the crowd here? You don't know, which is very dangerous. You know. So what would be that, ma'am?
They want to be appreciated for good job done.
They want to be appreciated for good job done. Very good. Now we'll come back to this point later. Let's look at the next slide first. Most of you here who have known about this model, right? Maslow's hierarchy of needs, a basic model which I've always used to try to relate to what we really want. I'm sure nobody is at the bottom level whereby you feel that your physiological needs are not met, I'm sure. Safety, and perhaps to a higher level, the esteem and belonging. We worked because of self-esteem, and that's why sometimes you felt that recognition is important. That gives you confidence. You also felt that you work. It's human nature that you want to have a sense of belonging, that you want to share your ideas, that you want to feel part of the team. This is exactly what all of us want too. And of course, at the higher levels is where we think about recognition, promotion, career advancement, and trying to do the best as we can. Having said that, I've narrowed down it into a triangle which says that the basic things I feel, whether you can agree or disagree, is come to these three areas rather: fair compensation, professional growth, work-life balance. And if you look at that, if I apply that to the Maslow's needs, basically if you look at fair compensation, it's about the fact about safety to a certain extent, because we need shelter, we need a home, and when we get our salary, that actually contributes towards buying those things. When we talk about work-life balance, what are we talking about? Based on the needs of the Maslow's model. We are talking about sense of belonging, yeah, the social needs, that directly links to that. And professional growth is something like where you actually start to look at the self-esteem and so on. So I believe that the two drivers and the employee commitment comes from the two types: intent to stay and intent to grow. And I believe every one of us seated here needs these two drivers to make us work and be happy at work. How do we get overall commitment from all our people? We have mentioned a lot of times about sense of belonging. And when we have a high sense of belonging, you start to talk about your organization. You start to talk about your hospitals. I have seen people who have the name tag that they wear on their around their necks, showing where they come from. And when they go for lunch, they are very proud to show off that. But I've also seen workers who, when they go out for lunch, they quickly put it in the pocket. And they do not want people to know where they come from. Very strange. And that actually shows that they are not really proud about where they come from, I feel. You know. Sometimes you also see certain workers, employees, who give you a business card readily and are very proud about their business card. We have also known people whereby they have business card, but they are not proud of where they come from, so they say their business cards have run out. So those things tells us a lot about what's really happening and whether the employee enjoys the work in the organization. And as you saw the bullet point 2, and if we are proud about our organization, we talk good things about it, we recommend it to our friends. And obviously, loyalty comes from there, because we will only focus ourselves on trying to contribute and help the company or the hospitals, and actually from there we stay on. We have mentioned the first 2 slides earlier. What do you want? Basically, when I put up this slide here, these are nothing new to anyone. Most of you would probably put a check mark against some of those points that we put up. At this point of time, I want to recheck with you. Which area you feel is the most important to you for this slide? Anyone? Which is the area that's you felt that is very important to you in your jobs? Sorry? Sorry? Interesting work. Challenges. Let's come to challenges later on a slide that I have. Yeah, and we'll talk about that. Anything else besides interesting work and challenges? I'm glad nobody says about high salary now. Sorry? Recognition. So we have challenges, we have recognition, and we have about interesting work. That's great. Yeah. From here, what do you feel are important to you? To be a member of a team. So what does it tell us from this point to be a member of a team? A sense of belonging, a sense of part of the team, a feeling that you also share and contribute towards the organization. And that doesn't always happen all the time. What else beside that from here? So, listen to be listened to be what? To be treated fairly? Okay, fine. So we have about 5 points here. Interesting work, recognition, to be treated fairly, to be listened to be a member of a team. So nobody have said anything about salary. Yeah? Or are they too shy to talk about salary? Yeah. I didn't put it up there, okay. Very sharp, you know. I deliberately didn't put it up there so you won't have to say that. Anyway, but these really are important factors to us, because as far as salary is concerned, once you have received your bonus, once you have got your increment, you are very happy when you go to the ATM machine and start to punch on your number and get and see that my salary has increased by 200 ringgit. But after that, what? It's back to the same old thing again. It doesn't last. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. And these factors that you have just pointed out simply are more important to us on our daily lives and also to our work. And I hope that you concur with my thoughts on this area. Hence, having known that these are the areas that most of us actually place importance, how do we appreciate the long service employees and the new employees? For managers here who are seated here, basically apply the 5 or 6 points that everyone has put up. Because salary is something that at times you couldn't control. And these are the areas that most of us can control. A simple thank you, like Mr. Stuart Peck have said, is a good recognition on a person. A pat on the shoulder for a job well done. I think it brings the daylight out of the person. Look into the eye of the person and give them a good handshake for a job well done. I think it makes a difference. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. Whatever we can say at your level, I believe that to drive forward and to motivate someone begins with good leadership. Mr. Stuart Peck talks about role model in terms of saying thank you, saying sorry. As a leader in whatever we do, we need to get our employees share with us what part of the picture are they playing in the total picture. From there on, we need to guide them in terms of the direction, and from there we get commitment. And when I talk about commitment, it's a big difference between interest. Sometimes employees come and tell you, I'm very interested in the job. I'm very interested in what I'm doing. But I see commitment and interest as two different things. To me, interest is about doing a job because it has convenience to do so. It's convenient to me, I'll do it. Commitment is that you go all out to do it. Have you ever heard about people, well, Malaysians love food. Have you heard of people whereby they will go all out to a remote place, going through jungles or going through uneven roads, and end of they find a little shop there and they say this is the best curry fish head in town. And they will go through that stage. Why? Because your desire, your passion about that food is so strong that you will go through all the obstacles to get it done or to achieve that objective. And that goes back to our work. When we have no passion, or we lack passion rather, we don't have the desire to do something well, or we don't believe in the work that we do, I don't think we have commitment. We probably are interested in the work. And if it's possible, if the job is next to my house, it's even more interesting. Accessibility. I think as superiors, we need to be accessible not just by being around, but able to support our people when they have problems. And when they come to you, you must be ready to help them with their problems and not ask the person to solve it themselves. That's accessibility. It's just not about have an office door which is open so that people can come in and go out. Trust. All these 4 areas, earlier bullet points, will actually slowly inculcate the trust between the superior and the subordinate. And when we don't have that, whatever skill you have in terms of management, I think it's very difficult to deal with your people. And that not just talking about superior-subordinate relationship in a workplace, it goes to our family lives as well. Between yourself as a parent with your children. I remember when I was young, or rather when I just got married and had a kid, I told my kid when on her 3rd year birthday, I said, I'll bring you to Kentucky Fried Chicken for the birthday party to be celebrated there. Well, I didn't do it because, again, excuse is time commitment, not able to do it. Next year, I promised her, I said that we'll go to McDonald's this time. My kid asked me, are you sure, Daddy? That was what she answered. So the trust wasn't there, just on this situation. And I felt that in our daily work life, that goes the same with us in terms of our staff, in terms of our team members. I think every one of us know about involvement, yeah, getting them to participate, getting work across to them because they feel important that they have the work to do, ownership, And from there, the ownership comes. And I believe ownership is important. Otherwise, they're just doing the work because I tell you to do so. And you do not wish to have that. And information is very important. We have meetings. We share information during those meetings. Please, meetings are not held just because we need to have a meeting of an hour or two. It's basically to impart information so that when people are well informed, they are able to do their work better. Challenge. There was a point by one of the participants up there who talks about challenge. When you make work more interesting, sometimes a routine work that's new to a person can be interesting, because this question has always posed to me that if the work is always the same mundane thing day in, day out, isn't that boring? Well, we can always change it in a different way and give a new assignment. Even a boring thing that is new to someone can be interesting. And of course, it's our skill to try to change the way a particular task or job is done. Expose them to new experiences, which means that it is important that we try to cross-utilize or do a job rotation for our people, and just not have that person doing the same old thing year in, year out, if possible. Get them involved in some of your problem-solving solutions, and challenge to the worker, which was mentioned. Now, challenges is everybody not everybody wants challenges. Some employees can be intimidated by challenges. So what do you do when you have people of that nature? Well, the fact is that you cannot manage them, that everybody is the same. So for those who are intimidated with challenges, work with them at a different pace. Do not deal with them as with someone who loves challenges. And you have to recognize that from your relationship, from your communication with that person. We have talked about sense of belonging, affiliation from the Maslow side as well, and this is very true. Team building, part of the team, and peer pressure coming from the team. To me, having a good team is in fact a built-in motivator, because all members of a team, if one is not actually agreeable or committed to towards the goals of the team, that person will automatically have the peer pressure from the others to do well. Nobody in a team wants to do badly. So when you can build an effective team, even a so-called a slow performer or someone who doesn't really perform as well will succumb to peer pressure to try to do better because he or she is in that team. Respect, recognition, as what you have mentioned just now. Make people feel important. Make people feel that the work they are doing is important. Don't make people feel that just because the person is a front office person who stands there and say good morning to customers or good morning to patients coming in, their job is not important. Importance of a job doesn't come from the title of the job. Yeah. Personally, I don't feel it that way. Treat employees as the professionals that they are. Get to know employees as individuals. How many of you here really know your employees well enough? Especially when you're a big team, how many of you really know the names of each and every employee? Their birthdays? And when they do, what do you do about it? But of course, this again sometimes have certain repercussion, because I have experience whereby I wanted to know the birthdays of my employees so that I can actually celebrate with them during that time. But I was told by one of the employees saying that no, they don't want to do that because they are afraid they know you know their age. So again, you've got to be sensitive about that. Show respect and appreciation for their work. I've already mentioned that. There are many little things you can do. It's just not about a performance appraisal and increasing their pay. Yeah, it's about catching them do the right things and showing your gratitude. We as managers love to catch people doing the wrong things. We always don't try to catch people doing the right things. And when we do catch them doing the right things, what are you going to do about it? That's the most important thing. So recognition, as I've mentioned, doesn't just come from money, but money is certainly important, but it could be positive feedback, public praise, other rewards that you can think about, which I may not be aware. Growth and opportunity of recognitions has already been mentioned. So do a job rotation on and off to give them a chance to learn new skills so that can broaden their experience, create opportunities for their growth, and obviously identify your people as to like what is the next step that person should be moving. Should not be afraid about that. I've met managers who have said that I should not identify them to grow to the next stage, because once they are better than me, what am I going to do? So they are afraid that the fact that they'll be replaced, which I do not think that would be the right call to make. Training, that's why you are all here. Yeah, and that certainly helps because it advances our skills. So to a certain extent, our superior recognizes that's why we are being sent here. Yeah, and that's further education is important because of the ever-changing environment in terms of certain technologies and certain knowledge that we need in order to perform our job much better. And finally, thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chin.